Don and Scott, the meeting wrapped up early because two trustees, as you mentioned, did not show up. Chris Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle. Without them, not enough board members were present to make official decisions.
My seat by 82%. Know this, I am going to come through on a landslide just like Trump did. Know that I will be...
In the quiet town of Dokan, Illinois, drama surrounds self-proclaimed supermayor Tiffany Henyard, turning her role into a reality show saga. From financial scandals to public meltdowns, Henyard has dominated headlines, leaving residents questioning not only her leadership, but her motives. What should be a routine local government position has become a spectacle, with Henyard at the center of it all. The town is left grappling with the fallout as the mayor positions herself as the star of her own political drama, leaving the community caught in the crossfire.
We are your bosses. We are the citizens adults, and you will not continue to treat us like this. Because you are...
Tiffany Henyard, who unapologetically dubs herself the super mayor of Dalton, has never shied away from the spotlight. Known for calling herself the people's mayor and an SLS supervisor, she has consistently made dramatic entrances into meetings, often without explanation, and has turned every situation into a personal showcase. With a unique knack for commanding attention, Henyard's latest move, announcing her re-election bid, seems to reflect the same boldness, though it feels disconnected from the growing discontent among Dalton's residents. In a Facebook post, dripping with theatrical flair, she declared, "Attention, attention, attention! I am running for re-election. Attention, I am running for re-election. Attention, I am running for re-election. Attention, I am running for re-election." Rather than sparking excitement, Henyard's announcement has amplified calls for her resignation. Critics are questioning how she can even consider a second term, given the turmoil surrounding her administration. Her time in office has been mired by accusations of mismanagement, public dissatisfaction, and an increasing sense that her priorities lie more in self-promotion than in effective governance. Despite this, Henyard remains unperturbed, presenting herself as a determined leader, deserving of a second term. However, Dalton residents are becoming increasingly vocal in their frustration. Social media and local discussions reveal a growing sentiment that Henyard's leadership has done more harm than good, with some labeling her re-election bid as audacious at best and delusional at worst. The stark contrast between Henyard's confident public persona and the community's dissatisfaction raises questions about her leadership style and the challenges Dalton faces under her tenure. As her re-election campaign unfolds, it casts a shadow over the town's future, leaving residents to grapple with the uncertainty of what lies ahead.
Prevented Supervisor Tiffany Henyard from filing a vacancy on the board. So what is going on and why the...
To understand why Tiffany Henyard's time in office has become so controversial, one must start with the staggering financial turmoil that has unfolded under her leadership. When Henyard took office, Dalton was in a strong fiscal position, with a general fund balance exceeding $5 million. However, just a few years later, the town now faces a deficit of over $3 million, a shocking reversal that has left residents in shock, demanding answers. Millions of taxpayer dollars have seemingly vanished, and the community is left to grapple with the consequences of her fiscal mismanagement. The situation took a dramatic turn when former Chicago Mayor Lori Lightfoot was hired to investigate Dalton's finances. Her investigation uncovered a troubling pattern of questionable expenses, which has only deepened the public's outrage. Among the most jaw-dropping revelations was a single-day spending spree on Amazon that totaled over $40,000. This extravagant purchase raised eyebrows, as the nature of the items bought remains unclear, and transparency regarding the town's finances has been conspicuously absent. The lack of clarity about how taxpayer money was spent has led many residents to accuse Henyard of treating Dalton's budget as her personal shopping account, rather than a public resource meant to serve the community's needs. The Amazon spending spree, coupled with other questionable financial decisions, has become emblematic of a broader concern: Henyard's apparent inability to prioritize fiscal responsibility. Critics argue that under her leadership, Dalton has been steered into a financial quagmire, leaving the town's residents to shoulder the consequences of mismanagement. As the town struggles to recover, the scrutiny on Henyard's administration grows sharper. Many wonder how such significant sums of money could have been spent with so little to show for it. The controversy surrounding Henyard's financial stewardship has highlighted the tension between her public persona and the realities of her governance. Her confident image as a leader with a vision contrasts starkly with the financial chaos she is accused of creating. This disconnect paints a picture of a leader whose priorities, according to critics, are alarmingly misaligned with the well-being of the town she was elected to serve. But the financial troubles don't end with the Amazon spending spree. An audit of Dalton's finances has unveiled a troubling pattern of high-value charges made on the village's credit cards, many of which were made without proper documentation or approval. From retail store purchases to unexplained administrative costs, the spending appeared to spiral out of control, with little to no oversight or accountability. This lack of checks and balances has ignited further outrage among residents, who are demanding answers about where their tax dollars are going. One frustrated resident declared during a fiery village meeting, "It's not going to fix our roads or improve our schools." Another added, "It's like she thinks she's running her own business instead of serving the people." The community's anger is palpable, and their concerns are entirely valid. Under Tiffany Henyard's administration, Dalton has been plunged into financial chaos, and the effects are being felt in public services. Vendors have begun refusing to fulfill orders because the village can't pay its bills, leading to shortages of basic supplies like paper and ink in the village office. Residents are left questioning how such large-scale mismanagement could occur, particularly as critical services continue to deteriorate. Streets remain in disrepair, schools lack necessary resources, and the community sees no tangible benefits from the lavish spending uncovered in the audit. Critics argue that this financial mismanagement is a defining feature of Henyard's tenure. Rather than focusing on the needs of the people, she appears to be more interested in unchecked spending and self-promotion. The lack of transparency and accountability has only fueled accusations that Henyard views Dalton's budget as a personal fund rather than a collective resource meant to improve the lives of its residents. As Dalton grapples with the fallout from this fiscal mismanagement, trust in local leadership continues to erode. The town is not only financially crippled but is also struggling to restore faith in its governance. This crisis has become a cautionary tale about the devastating impact that poor leadership can have on a community. Dalton's residents are bearing the brunt of these consequences, and many wonder what the future holds for their town under Henyard's leadership.
Urban leaders spent the last few days handing out free turkeys ahead of Thanksgiving. But in Thornton Township, the trustees say embattled Supervisor Tiffany.
If Tiffany Henyard's financial controversies are alarming, her leadership style paints an even grimmer picture. Imagine a mayor who storms into meetings late, dismisses legitimate concerns, and transforms public forums into contentious spectacles filled with sharp exchanges and polarizing rhetoric. This is the essence of Henyard's approach to governance. At a recent board meeting, residents waited over 30 minutes for Henyard to arrive, with some openly mocking her tardiness. "We just sacrificed 32 minutes for someone who doesn't care about our time," one resident remarked, drawing applause from the crowd. When Henyard finally appeared, she offered no apology or acknowledgement of the delay. Instead, she lashed out at her critics, calling them disrespectful, and even accusing them of being fans obsessed with her. "A lot of you come to this mic talking about nothing," she said dismissively. "You're talking about Tiffany Henyard. That means you're fans." Her comment, dripping with condescension, left many in the room stunned and further underscored her dismissive attitude toward her constituents. This pattern of behavior has alienated many residents who feel that their concerns are not only ignored but mocked by a leader more focused on defending her image than addressing the issues facing the community. The stark disconnect between Henyard and the people she serves has turned board meetings into battlegrounds of frustration where citizens voice grievances only to be met with deflection and disdain. Critics argue that her tendency to prioritize her ego over effective leadership has created a toxic atmosphere in local governance, one where meaningful dialogue is replaced by grandstanding and confrontation. As Dalton grapples with financial woes and deteriorating public services, Henyard's leadership style has only deepened the sense of disillusionment and mistrust among residents, leaving the community to wonder if she's truly committed to serving their best interests or simply her own.
Your scheduled board meetings. I don't care if you agree or disagree, but you must show up to say yes or no.
Tiffany Henyard's combative approach to leadership has alienated not only residents, but also members of the village board. Trustees have accused her of bypassing protocol and making unilateral decisions without consulting anyone. One of the most controversial examples was her recent appointment of Ronald Burge as Dalton's new police chief. The move sparked immediate backlash because Burge's state certification had expired, making him ineligible to serve. The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board even sent a letter declaring Burge unfit for the role, but Henyard pressed ahead with the appointment anyway. This incident sparked a legal battle, further deepening the dysfunction within her administration. Trustees have described her leadership as chaotic and self-serving, with one even refusing compensation from the village in protest. Henyard's controversies, however, extend beyond financial mismanagement and personal drama. Allegations of retaliatory tactics against her critics have emerged, with reports claiming that she has used her influence over local law enforcement to target political adversaries. Former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins, who was fired without board approval, filed a lawsuit claiming that Henyard instructed him to harass individuals she labeled as enemies. Trustees have echoed these claims, with one alleging that Henyard ordered police officers to follow her around town and issue tickets as a form of manipulation if the board did not comply with her directives. Adding to the dysfunction is the ongoing paralysis within Dalton's governance. Henyard's frequent clashes with township trustees have left key agenda items unresolved. Recently, two trustees, Christopher Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle, boycotted a critical meeting over concerns about transparency and unvetted agenda items. Their absence prevented a quorum, halting plans to appoint a new board member to fill a vacancy. Gonzalez argued that the appointment process should involve the community, not just the board. "We're not going to be part of the surface," he said, stressing the need for responsible, transparent leadership that listens to the citizens.
Township has this turkey giveaway, so it isn't anything new, yet some trustees say that Supervisor Henyard, she is using...
Tiffany Henyard's combative approach has alienated not only residents but also members of the village board. Trustees have accused her of bypassing protocol and making unilateral decisions without consulting anyone. One of the most controversial examples of this was her recent appointment of Ronald Burge as Dalton's new police chief. The decision sparked immediate backlash because Burge's state certification had expired, making him ineligible to serve. The Illinois Law Enforcement Training and Standards Board even sent a letter declaring him unfit, but Henyard pressed ahead with the appointment. This move sparked a legal battle, further deepening the dysfunction within her administration. Trustees have described her leadership as chaotic and self-serving, with one trustee even refusing to accept compensation from the village in protest. Henyard's controversies go beyond financial mismanagement and personal drama. Reports have surfaced alleging that she has used her influence over local law enforcement to target critics and political adversaries. Former Dalton Police Chief Robert Collins, who was fired without board approval, filed a lawsuit claiming that Henyard directed him to harass individuals she considered enemies. Trustees have echoed these allegations, with one claiming that Henyard ordered police officers to follow her around town and issue tickets as a form of manipulation when the board did not comply with her demands. Adding to the dysfunction is the ongoing paralysis within Dalton's governance. Henyard's frequent clashes with township trustees have left key agenda items unresolved. Recently, trustees Christopher Gonzalez and Carmen Carlisle boycotted a critical meeting, citing concerns over transparency and unvetted agenda items. Their absence prevented a quorum, halting plans to appoint a new board member to fill a vacancy. Gonzalez argued that the appointment process should involve the community, not just the board. "We're not going to be part of the surface," he said, emphasizing the need for responsible, transparent leadership that truly serves the citizens.
Waiting Mayor Henyard to arrive. We'll give another 5 minutes.
Mayor Tiffany Henyard delayed the meeting with no explanation.
Tiffany Henyard has made attempts to deflect criticism through publicized feel-good events, such as her annual Thanksgiving turkey giveaways. While some residents appreciated the gesture, others saw it as a blatant distraction from the deeper issues plaguing Dalton. "She's just trying to buy goodwill with turkeys while ignoring the real problems," one resident said. Even Henyard's critics couldn't deny the scale of the event. Over 3,000 food baskets were distributed. However, the timing of the giveaway raised doubts, with many questioning if it was simply a stunt to cover up her administration's financial mismanagement. Trustees accused Henyard of using the giveaway as a way to gloss over her failures, calling it an attempt to mask fiscal irresponsibility. They argued that the giveaways epitomized her priorities, focusing on optics rather than addressing substance. "I got smoked ham hocks, I got smoked turkeys," one trustee quipped, highlighting the contrast between the spectacle and the real issues facing the community. Despite the backlash, Henyard seemed unfazed, but the frustration among Dalton residents is growing. At public meetings, many have voiced their anger, demanding her resignation and calling for new leadership. "We aren't your subjects. We are your bosses. You will not continue to treat us like this," one resident bluntly declared. Another added, "The clock is ticking. We're going to clean house in 2025. The anger is palpable, and it's not just coming from her critics. Even some of Henyard's former allies, like trustee Carmen Carlisle, have turned against her, accusing her administration of disorganization and dishonesty. Carlisle, once Henyard's assistant, now describes herself as a whistleblower, shedding light on the chaos of Henyard's leadership. Adding to the controversy is drama surrounding Henyard's personal life. Her landlord recently filed an eviction lawsuit, claiming Henyard and her boyfriend have not paid rent since August. The landlord alleges the couple even changed the locks and garage code to prevent access to the property. Henyard's lawyer disputes the claims, but the lawsuit only adds to the long list of controversies surrounding her. It's a situation that has left many residents questioning how someone earning over $300,000 a year between her two political roles could fall behind on rent. "She's her own villain," one commenter wrote online, capturing the sentiment of many Dalton residents. Another added, "I'm so glad she's not our mayor." Despite the mounting controversies, Henyard remains defiant. She has launched her re-election campaign with the confidence of someone who believes she is untouchable. Comparing herself to former President Donald Trump, she boldly declared, "Just like Trump, I'm coming in on a landslide." This statement seems wildly out of touch with the reality on the ground, where her approval ratings have plummeted and the town's finances are in shambles. Trustee Jason House, one of Henyard's most vocal opponents, has launched his own campaign for mayor, promising transparency, fiscal responsibility, and a commitment to addressing Dalton's real issues. For many residents, House represents a fresh start and a chance to move on from the chaos of Henyard's leadership. "This is your super mayor time," one community member remarked, emphasizing that they wanted a leader who was accountable to the people. As the 2025 election approaches, Dalton's future remains uncertain. Will Henyard manage to defy the odds and secure a second term, or will residents finally say enough is enough? One thing is clear, the drama is far from over. From financial scandals to public feuds, Henyard's tenure as mayor has been anything but ordinary. But for a town desperate for stability and progress, the question remains, can Dalton afford another 4 years of the super mayor? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more updates on this ongoing political saga.